The Airbus A380 was a wide-body super jumbo commercial aircraft made by the French originating aviation company Airbus, designed to carry huge numbers of passengers on long-haul flights. However, after just 14 years in production, the A380 became a catastrophic failure for the company, being retired in just 2021. In spite of this, after just 4 years in retirement, the Airbus A380 could be making an unexpected comeback. In today's video, we are going to be taking an exploration into this such aircraft, covering its origins, launch, failure, and why demand for the almost obsolete and oversized aircraft returned. Before we continue with this video, I would just like to ask that if you are enjoying this video so far, or in fact any of the videos on this channel, then please consider liking and subscribing. A simple subscription will notify you when content like this will be released. Now, without further delay, let's get into today's video. The A380 is the largest commercial passenger aircraft in the world, and is the world's only full-length double-decker. Studies for developing the aircraft began in 1988, and the project was informally announced in 1990, with the intentions of challenging the dominance of the Boeing 747 in the long-haul market. The then designated A3XX project was presented in 1994, and Airbus launched the $10.7 billion A380 program on the 19th of December 2005. In terms of its design, the A380 is certified to carry up to 853 passengers at one time, with typical seating for 525 passengers, and with a cabin surface area of 5,920 square feet, it can accommodate 199 more seats than the world's second largest commercial passenger aircraft, the Boeing 747-8. Of course, all this space, plus all the passengers and cargo that utilize it, generates a lot of weight. In fact, the A380 is so heavy, having a maximum takeoff weight of 575 tons, that it requires 4 engines to power it. At launch, Airbus offered it with either the Rolls-Royce Trent 900 turbofan or the Engine Alliance GP 7000 turbofan, the Trents generating 70,000 pounds of thrust each. Therefore, the combined 280,000 pounds of thrust comes in handy when the aircraft is fully loaded. The first A380, registered F-WWOW, was unveiled in Toulouse on the 18th of January 2005 and first flew on the 27th of April 2005. This plane, equipped with the Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines, flew from Toulouse Airport with a crew of 6 headed by Chief Test Pilot Jacques Rosé. Rosé said flying the A380 had been like handling a bicycle. On the 1st of December 2005, the A380 achieved its maximum design speed of Mach 0.96, its design cruise speed is Mach 0.85, in a shallow dive. On the 14th of February 2006, during the destructive wind strength certification test on MSN 5000, the test wing of the A380 failed at 145% of the limit load, short of the required 150% level. Airbus announced modifications adding 30 kg to the wing to provide the required strength. In terms of passenger comfort, it was more than just the A380's size which made them a true marvel of modern engineering. With a unique cabin design, elevated first-class luxuries including a fully stocked bar and even showers on some iterations, plus a cargo hold that can hold over 3,000 suitcases, the plane was crafted to be the pinnacle of long-distance luxury travel. It became an instant hit with plane spotters and the travelling public, loved by aviation enthusiasts across the globe. For example, the A380 is personally my favourite aircraft in the world, and I have seen so many on numerous plane spotting holidays. It is, in my opinion, such a unique aircraft, and the engineering behind it to make this beast airworthy is truly incredible. Despite its leaps in capacity and comfort, the A380's market was incredibly niche, with few airports having the space to accommodate the massive airliner, and even fewer flight paths of the volume to warrant its usage. Airports that wanted to accommodate the super jumbo jet needed to make serious infrastructural changes, such as larger ramps, jetways and terminal buildings, plus using unique refueling and loading equipment to compensate for the size of the aircraft. In fact, only 16 American airports can actually accommodate the A380. As of January, the largest operator of the A380, Emirates, only flew to 5 of its destinations. As well as size, the A380 also came with a huge price tag, due to mainly the complexity of the manufacturing process. Plus, its poor fuel efficiency meant the cost of one A380 was $445.6 million, plus roughly $26,000 per hour of operating costs. In fact, it was reported that it was 12% less fuel efficient than some of its competitors. This was, of course, mainly to do with the sheer size of the aircraft, plus the use of 4 engines. In my opinion, the biggest reason for the A380's demise, however, was the lack of demand in commercial aviation at the time. The A380 was launched in 2007, just 12 years before the COVID-19 pandemic. Predictably, the COVID pandemic was catastrophic for the commercial aviation industry. During the first year of the pandemic alone, air travel plummeted by 60%, some cities even seeing a reduction of over 90% of their air traffic over the initial months. And while the industry lost an eye-watering $370 billion in that span, the A380 was hit particularly hard in this time. An estimate shows that airlines saw an astounding 2.7 billion fewer passengers in 2020 than in 2019. This meant that operators had a huge difficulty filling 200-seater flights, let alone 500-seater cabins. This meant that airlines were either operating their A380s at a very low profit gain due to the lack of passengers and extortionate running costs, or a total inconsistent loss. Therefore, in 2021, just 14 years after its maiden voyage, Airbus officially retired the A380. At its discontinuation, only a little over 200 of the aircraft were operating, with the remaining 20% grounded or sold off for scrap. Therefore, with the fuel costs, complexity of manufacturing and low demand for its market, this surely brought the end to the King of the Skies. In spite of all these downfalls, and the official retirement from production of the aircraft, recent trends might create an opening for the Airbus's colossal aircraft to make an unlikely comeback. This stems from the same pandemic that let it go to its grave. After the end of the pandemic, airlines had downsized their fleets to smaller aircraft, like the A320, 737 and 777. However, at the same time, demand for air travel was returning to near normal figures. This meant that these downsized fleets can no longer cope under the immense demand and pressure, and airlines desperately needed a stopgap solution until manufacturers worked through the immense backlogs of 15,700 commercial aircraft orders, which at its current rates, this will take roughly 13 years to fulfill. This is because, due to the wars in Ukraine for instance, the aviation industry has been struck hard by swings in raw material supply, such as titanium. So if a new solution is out of the question, airlines need something that is already on the table. And so, several airlines have brought their fleet of A380s out of retirement. For example, Korean Air and Asiana reportedly might delay their retirement of the A380, while Lufthansa have been steadily expanding its A380 flight portfolio in recent months. One startup, Global Airlines, has even founded its entire business model on the double-decker, relying exclusively on the A380 for its international voyages. Incredibly, the good news does not stop here. Some industry experts have suggested that increases in fuel efficiency could cement the A380's comeback as more than just a stopgap solution. In March 2025, Emirates CEO Tim Clark announced that the Dubai-based airline would invest $5 billion in retrofitting its fleet of aircraft, including its collection of Airbus A380s. This announcement came just 2 months after Clark publicly called for the European manufacturer to revamp its line of jumbo jets, suggesting more fuel-efficient ultrafan engines, and aerodynamic materials could make the A380 25% more efficient. This potential reduction in emissions could flip the A380 calculus on its head, making the high-capacity flights more economical. Furthermore, when an A380 is full, it is actually extremely cost-efficient, and the increasing demand for air travel means that filling the aircraft is much easier and profits are much higher. However, this excitement should not be fully embraced, as Airbus haven't actually announced the A380 will be returning to the production lines, but the recent increase in demand for the aircraft might make that a reality. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to stay tuned for more aviation videos and news in the commercial world of flight. To summarise, the A380, fondly known by enthusiasts as the King of the Skies, was a marvel of size, comfort and technological advance, which, despite its catastrophic failure caused by many internal and external factors, could be centre stage for an unlikely comeback and return to the skies. Thanks so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, then please leave a like, and if you've really loved it, then make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss another video just like this. As always, I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye. In terms of its design, the A380 is certified to carry up to 853 passengers at one time, with of course, all this relate. In terms of its design, the A380 is certified to carry up to 803 during the destructive wind strength certificate. That's a mouthful. Wait a minute. Wait. I swear I've already done this. Wait. Why have I recorded that twice? What the hell? Oh god, just wasted like 20 minutes. Are you kidding me?